Okay, so I'm going to open up Adobe Acrobat Pro, and inside of here, I'm going to go to my TerraGo GeoPDF toolbar, and I'm going to select my Composer toolbar, and I'm going to go down to where it says 3D GeoPDF Creator. This is going to open up a dialog that is going to allow me to select a few things, a few sources. What we're going to be doing is we're going to select the elevation and the imagery that we're going to drape over to generate an actual 3D GeoPDF scene. So in here, I can say, okay, I got a couple of options. I can generate the surface model, or I can generate a point cloud. I would recommend the surface model. It gives the end user a better experience. Point cloud is, it's definitely for an intended use, but for most users, they'll appreciate the surface model more. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that selected there. I'm going to browse to my elevation file, and in here, find my elevation file. So I got two geotiffs. One is an elevation, and one is the imagery that I'm going to drape over the top of it. So I'm going to go ahead and select the elevation file. There's a couple of different formats that we support. We support DEM, we support DTEDs, 0, 1, and 2, LAS or LAS files, Mr. SID, and GeoTIFFs as far as elevation goes. So you can go ahead and select that source you've already got ready to go here, and I'm going to go ahead and open. And in here, it allows me to set the level of detail on the elevation. So I'm going to leave this at 50. And again, it kind of depends on the sources that you're utilizing. I would recommend we try to stay around a gig for the elevation, and we also try to stay within like a 1 kilometer squared area for just for the performance of the tools and generating a model, so it doesn't become too lengthy, or the output doesn't become too large really to share with users. So but you can, I'm going to leave this at 50, but you can slide this back and forth again to just kind of based on the source that you're utilizing to try to give you the best quality output, but also keep in mind the size. So I'm going to go ahead and click next here. And then I can actually browse to the directory where the image that I'm actually going to drape over top of the elevation. And again, I'm going to go ahead and select a GeoTIFF here, but we also support Mr. SIDs, and we can actually use a GeoTIFF, a GeoPDF for this as well. So if you have a specific GeoPDF that you've already generated, let's say 2D of an area, and you've also got elevation and you want to drape that over it, that's a possibility. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and select this GeoTIFF, and it'll automatically set the band combination for you, but you can adjust that. And again, that's just kind of for, it kind of depends on the intended use, that you can kind of manipulate those bands. You can apply a histogram stretch and a standard deviation. In most instances, this is going to improve the kind of look and feel for the end user. But again, it kind of depends on your source. But I'm going to go ahead and apply it here. And then I'm going to hit next. And then we've also got, so then you've also, this next dialog, part of the dialog is related to the actual 3D scene that's going to get generated. So we can apply some, we can denoise the elevation file to where we get rid of the extreme low and extreme high values in your elevation. Again, you can, set that level of detail. That's with a little slider from 1 to 100. I'm going to leave that again at around 50. And then as far as a downsampling strategy, you don't have to downsample. You can say none here. or you can go with, the fastest processing, which is, the downsampling is much greater. You can do kind of a balance for speed and processing, or you can say better quality. So really the selection you make here is completely dependent upon the sources that you're utilizing. And that sweet spot for performance for the end user and size of the file itself that you're trying to send to them. So I'm going to go ahead and select the denoise. I'm going to set balance speed and processing, and I'm going to leave the detail around 50. All right, so the next option here, you can clip the image to the DEM as it overlaps, or you can not clip the image at all, which the 3D model, depending on how large or how small the elevation file is, it might get a little, the output's going to get a little bit, it'll be a little bit different. So, you'll have imagery, or you won't have imagery covering the elevation. So you'll have this pretty picture and then possibly some grayed areas that will show the topography. Or you can say, hey, I want to clip the image to a particular easting and northing. Not very many people know what those values are. But I'm going to go ahead and say clip the image to the DEM to overlap it. Ideally, what you'll do is hopefully you'll have some software that will allow you to do that prior to running our tools. It just makes running the process, just improves the performance of our tools if we don't have to clip the image. But we can do it for you as well. So I'm going to go ahead and say clip the image, clip the DEM to an image to where they overlap. And I'm going to click next here. And then lastly, we can include like a title graphically to the 3D scene that we generate. So I'm going to say, hey, this is my 3D. This is my 3D GeoPDF file. And then I'm going to save the output to a particular location. If I hit save here, it's going to generate, usually takes, several minutes for it to create the output. I do have something very similar already generated. So I'm just going to go ahead and open that up for demonstration purposes. And you can kind of see here, there's my 3D GeoPDF sample. There's that label that I keyed in. And if I take my mouse and just scroll over the top of the scene, you're seeing lat and long, but you're now also seeing the elevation. If I keep my left mouse button down, I can now rotate and tilt the 3D scene itself. And I can also, kind of pan around the scene itself to zoom into, let's say, a particular area of interest. So part of the Adobe Acrobat experience is you can also save bookmarks based on, where I've kind of stopped as far as zooming and panning of the model. I can also change the lighting. Right now it's headlamp. I could change that as far as the different lighting on the model as well. So that is that's all I've got for 3D GeoPDF creation. Thank you for your time.